Just 7 minutes away from the issuance of the command to open up the hooks on the Soyuz side of the docking interface. We're in a handover right now between satellites on our tracking and data relay satellite system. We will reacquire our downlink signal from the International Space Station momentarily. About 2.5 minutes after physical separation of the Soyuz from the Rassvet module, the Soyuz engines will be commanded to a 15-second burn and a change in velocity of about 1.03 meters per second to create a fairly accelerated opening rate from the International Space Station, accelerating its departure away from the International Outpost to a distance well away from the station. Just 55 minutes between the undocking and the deorbit burn to bring it back into the Earth's atmosphere, as opposed to the normal 2.5 hours had a crew been on board. All of the Soyuz systems and its television transmitter have been activated. We'll be reacquiring our downlink TV capability just a moment or two from now. Just coming up on the 4.5-minute mark until the undocking command is issued. It will take about 90 seconds for the Soyuz hooks to open, and then physical separation will occur. And again, just a reminder for those of you watching our coverage this morning, we are only broadcasting the undocking today on NASA television and our associated web platforms. We, however, will update the deorbit entry and landing of the Soyuz MS-22 on the station blog and on social media as those events unfold over the next 2 hours, with the landing scheduled at 6:45 a.m. Central Time, 7:45 a.m. Eastern Time, which will be 5:45 p.m. at the landing site in Kazakhstan 2 hours before sunset. This view now from the crosshaired engineering camera on the Soyuz MS-22. You'll be seeing views both from the truss cameras on the International Space Station and this camera as the Soyuz backs away from the Rassvet module, to which it has been attached since last September. This vehicle brought Frank Rubio, Sergei Prokopyev, and Dmitry Petelin to the International Space Station, now returning to Earth today uncrewed. The 3 crew members to return later this year on the newly minted and newly arrived MS-23 vehicle. 2 minutes until the undocking command is issued.
Station Houston on 2 for Frank and the crew's awareness. 2 minutes from the Soyuz undocking command.
Once again, this view of the Soyuz MS-22 standing by for the undocking command to be issued and physical separation. The International Space Station currently passing over northern China, soon to cross the border into Mongolia. Just 30 seconds away now from the undocking command to be issued. Again, it will take about 90 seconds for the hooks on the Soyuz to open up, leading to physical separation of the Soyuz from the Rassvet module. The International Space Station in free drift. And the hooks are now driving. Command has been issued. And we're standing by for physical separation. Undocking confirmed at 4:57 and 30 seconds a.m. Central Time. The damaged Soyuz MS-22 free at the International Space Station, heading for an uncrewed automated landing next on. Expedition 68 now in the history books. Expedition 69 officially underway. A smooth back away from the International Space Station by the Soyuz. Roscosmos engineers and Russian flight controllers of the Russian Mission Control Center report good attitude control on the Soyuz.
МКС СУПа Москвы в канале СГ-1 для Дмитрия.
ISS Moscow G1 for Dmitry, regarding mode and cover day and RAM1 of the vehicle to the close position. Yes, go ahead, Energy-1. You are go MRM-1 Soyuz EPV into the closed position. Copy.
About 90 seconds away from the 15-second separation burn by the Soyuz to accelerate its departure rate from the station.
Flying some 260 miles over southeastern Russia.
MRM-1 Teka Kavada valve is in position closed. This is Dmitry reporting on Space to Ground 1. We copy.
Coming up on that separation burn and the engine firing underway.
15-second burn. This is about twice as long as is typically the case
for a departure burn designed to hasten the Soyuz's departure rate from the station. Just 55 minutes separating undocking itself and the deorbit burn of 4 minutes and 31 seconds. And the separation burn is complete and is reported to be successful. So the Soyuz now will race away from the International Space Station to a safe distance for the deorbit burn that is scheduled at 5:51 and 19 seconds a.m. Central Time. That will be a 4-minute, 31-second retrograde firing, a braking maneuver to slow the vehicle down by 128 meters per second, allowing it to drop out of orbit for its descent back into the Earth's atmosphere. The pyrotechnic separation of the three sections of the Soyuz is scheduled at 6:19 a.m. Central Time. That'll be followed by its entry into the Earth's atmosphere about 4 minutes later, and its entry into the plasma regime, where heat around the spacecraft will build to some 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit in the period of peak heating, or I should say peak heating on the spacecraft that
will be endured without the benefit of a cooling capability on this Soyuz, having incurred damage back on December 14th to lose its coolant capability through the micrometeoroid hit on its heat-dissipating radiator. The command to open up the Soyuz parachute, the large parachutes, is scheduled just after 6:30 a.m. Central Time, with landing at 6:45 and 43 seconds a.m. Central Time, 5:45 p.m. in Kazakhstan,
91 miles to the southeast of the town of Jezkazgan.
Moscow Station on Space to Ground 1 for источник for Sergei. Go ahead on Space to Ground 1. Sergei, reporting. I am working per 6235, and on page 9, the report is minus 35, minus 38, minus 76, and the time on page 10 that I need to report to you.
Принято.
We copy. So the time is 31 minutes. Everything else is nominal per the radiogram. Sergei, could you repeat 31 minutes and then...
This view from the cross-haired engineering camera on the outside of the Soyuz vehicle as it backs away from the International Space Station to a safe distance for its deorbit burn that is coming up at 5:51 a.m. Central Time, about 47 minutes from now. Flight controllers at the Russian Mission Control Center outside of Moscow report that the Soyuz's onboard computers have all the information built in now and loaded into the onboard computer for the automated functions of the Soyuz for deorbit burn and all of the entry functions of the vehicle.
Sergey, let's do 1.5 a little bit later, please. Or have you switched already? If you have already switched, it's no trouble. Everything's okay. Copy, and I will leave it then. Yes, please leave it as is and continue. So 1.6 needs to be done a little bit later, please. Okay?
The Soyuz continues its departure on the correct trajectory away from the International Space Station. Again, undocking occurred on time at 4:57 and 30 seconds a.m. Central Time, 5:57 a.m. Eastern Time, heading for a deorbit burn about 45 minutes from now at 5:51 and 19 seconds a.m. Central Time, a 4-minute, 31-second retrograde firing to enable the Soyuz to slow down by 128 meters per second, enabling it to drop out of orbit for its high-speed return back into the Earth's atmosphere and a parachute-assisted landing on the steppe of Kazakhstan.
МКС ЦУПа Москвы в канале СГ-1. Ребят, для информации, мы начали выполнять разворот после...
Station Moscow Space Ground 1, just FYI. We are starting the maneuver to the duty attitude.
With the Soyuz MS-22 on its way headed back to Earth in just about an hour and 40 minutes or so from now.
Copy, thank
you. The Expedition 69 increment on board the International Space Station officially underway, continuing under the command of Roscosmos cosmonaut Sergei Prokopyev. He, Dmitry Petelin of Roscosmos, and NASA's Frank Rubio will board the Soyuz MS-23 spacecraft next Thursday, April 6th, undock their spacecraft from the Poisk module on the space-facing side of the International Space Station, can conduct a relocation fly-around of the station to redock at the Prishal node module on the Earth-facing side of the complex. That will open up Poisk to be used exclusively as an airlock for Prokopyev and Petelin to conduct a series of spacewalks over the next couple of months or so to continue the outfitting of the Naoka multipurpose laboratory module that was interrupted back in December by the strike on the Soyuz by the micrometeoroid that resulted in the loss of the Soyuz coolant and the subsequent events leading up to today's undocking of the damaged Soyuz spacecraft.
Для Дмитрия.
Moscow station on space.
And so, with Soyuz MS-22 having undocked on time at 4:57 a.m. Central Time, 5:57 a.m. Eastern Time, that will wrap up our coverage on NASA television. However, we will continue to follow the Soyuz through its deorbit burn, its entry activities, and its landing on the steppe of Kazakhstan on the NASA website, the blog, and other social media platforms, all the way through landing that is scheduled at 6:45 a.m. Central Time, 7:45 a.m. Eastern Time, 5:45 p.m. at the landing site in Kazakhstan, some 2 hours before sunset. So until then, we'll wish you a good morning and a good day. This is Mission Control Houston.
NASA celebrates Women's History Month.